Hey everyone, it's been a while, but I'm back here on YouTube, hoping I can post a little more consistently than I have in the past few years or so. It's just been a struggle trying to find a good setup for me and for filming because my space just is not open enough for it. So I have a new workspace here that I've got going now, so I'm hoping this will be a little easier for me to be able to do videos, but we'll see in the future. Today I'm just showing you how I put together the last half of this door for the dollhouse. Um, since the door has a glass or faux glass opening, I have to build it a little bit differently so I can glue the glass in, well, the plexiglass, uh, before I glue everything in place. So right now I'm just measuring out all my pieces to mirror the other side, but I'm not gluing them in place yet. And then I've got to stain them as well because once I glue it on place, I don't want to get stain on the plexiglass or anywhere like that. So it's just easier to do it all ahead of time. And that's what I'm doing here in the video. And it's just a lot of tedious work, just mirroring and measuring, and I'm using those clamps to help keep everything in place so I get it straight and even so it looks like the other side. But quite a few times I go off camera here. I'm trying to figure things out. Just bear with me, and we'll see how it goes. I need better lighting. I have like 3 lamps going here, and it felt like it still wasn't enough lighting. So that's another struggle. But yeah. So now I'm gluing it down in certain places before I slide the plexiglass in, and then it can all be positioned into place. I don't know if this is like helpful for you. It's kind of hard to explain it as I go along. I think it's easier to just watch it, but it's just a lot of tedious work here that's going into play. And here we are, finally staining it. So that means I'm getting ready to glue everything down. But yeah. I probably should edit this video shorter, but it's hard for me to know like where to stop and start some stuff. And you know, when you're doing such tedious work like this, it's a lot of footage to go through. So, and I didn't even record every single bit of work I did on this door, like I said, because I already had finished one side of it. And you know, that's hours worth of work that, you know, is there, and it's just so much to edit down, and it could be a whole job in itself besides working on the actual piece. So this is looking like it's coming together now. I've got it all in place and it's glued down pretty much. I think that's the last piece I gotta put in. I'd glued in the little sides, like the ones going horizontal in first, and then now I'm just gluing in the long ones that are going vertical up and down the door that will sandwich in the piece of plexiglass. The piece of plexiglass is from an old jewelry box that my mom gave me while she was out thrifting, and it had 2 sides to it. It was like on this little rotating stand, and it was rectangular in shape. And it rotated, and then it had these little plexiglass things that you would slide up to access the jewelry. So one side had like hooks where you could hang your necklaces and things, and then the other side had slots for like earrings and stuff, and rings. And I don't know what else to do with the rest of that jewelry box. I still have it, but the plexiglass I used as the doors for Luke and Laura's house. So the other piece is on the front door, and then this piece is for the patio door to the house. So that's how I use those. So that's a great way to find like decorative plexiglass that already had the little gold detail on it when I got it. So this panel of plexiglass is a little more scratched up than the other one, the one they put on the front door of the dollhouse. But that's fine. I mean, I'm not too worried about it being perfect because I do have like this older looking, house for them, so it works with the theme of everything. So it doesn't bother me, but it's a great way to find and repurpose those old jewelry boxes that you might find at the thrift store. Sometimes they come with glass inserts, but this one had plexiglass, so it was perfect. And it wasn't too thick either, so it worked perfect for me. Here I am carving out the sections for the hinges on the door. So this is really tedious, and you got to be super careful because you don't want to cut yourself, because the X-Acto knife is the best way to go in carving out these little notches. And yeah, I mean, I just stood there for a good while. I was actually standing, not sitting. So yeah, it took me a good while to get this done. And then I needed to do it again on the other side of the door, but I ended up having to redo all that because it was just too deep when I did it on the door frame. No, not the other side of the door, but the door frame. And I had to redo it all, but I got it going afterwards. Those hinges can be quite fiddly. They're just like those little hinges you can get in the wood making craft wood section of like Hobby Lobby or other stores. And that's what I used here for the doors. But yeah, just lots of sanding, lots of cutting. And it's a lot of work. Okay, here we are. Now I'm doing pilot holes for the hinges, because they have teeny tiny screws they come with, and if you don't pre-drill do pilot holes, then you'll split your wood, and so that's not good. And that's what I'm doing here. I did split the pilot holes, and now I'm getting the hinges attached to the door, and then next would be working on the door frame itself. But like I said, when I initially glued the door frame in, or when I put all the craftwood pieces on it, on the door frame for that wall that goes out to the patio of the dollhouse, I had left that last piece in to dry, the one that's where the hinges will go onto. I left it to dry, and then I didn't come back to check it for a while because I got busy doing something else, like making dinner or something. I can't remember. And it ended up popping out on me and dried crooked, and then it wasn't like super crooked, it was just like off by, like a few millimeters. But it ended up being a problem, and I had to take it off, and then I carved out a little too deep on the door frame. And so I ended up popping off that strip of wood and redoing it. But in the end, it's on the door, on there, it works out, it looks good, and I'm happy with it. And I didn't film how I put the handle on, but it's basically just a bead and a few other jewelry items that I have that I used for the doorknob itself. So it's all just glued together, and I drilled a hole through the door so I could attach the doorknob with the two beads sandwiched, on the door sandwich between the two beads. And that is it. Now it's in place, and I just need to screw that wall to the frame of the shelf, and it'll be good. And you can see it now here from both sides, and I'm pretty happy with it. It looks good. And nothing's ever perfect. It can be a little wonky because it's handmade, but overall, I'm happy. And if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. And if you're new here, maybe subscribe, like the video, and comment if you'd like to. And thanks for being here.